The long journey's end. How lonely it is. Beneath a moonless sky, wandering clouds drift, lost and forlorn. In the absolute darkness. With hollow steps, the path ahead is treacherous. Yet onward I shall go, breathing only through my resolve. Thus I will uphold the legacy of Sangdo, a vow etched in deep regret. I shall carry it to the very end.
내려앉아. 아스라질지어다. 일어나라. 상세 발파. 세차게 부딪히거라. 힘을 번쩍! 기인 원리 태허 일기!
More amazing news are just dropping. Awakening Dosa. We got early access on Global Lab, and this is looking glorious. So I'm gonna cover the entire class and the kit. Comboing and everything is a bit hard right now because there does seem to be some bugs on the Global Lab. That's why we are on it. In terms of the mark application, but I'll explain the mechanics behind the class and how it's gonna work. And of course, all numbers and everything are subject to change. The actual abilities kit and all that is what it is. There might be some adjustments, and especially damage numbers and percentage damage reductions, accuracy, crit, buffs, debuffs, all of it are completely subject to change by the time the class is out on Tuesday, but I am very excited. So let's cover the basics first. First up, it is a DR class, just like Succession. There are no special things here in terms of buffs and debuffs. It has a 20 DP buff on WF, just like Succession does, main hand does. And it also has a 20 AP buff on the new special passive here. So it has a 20 AP buff, and there's also a minus 20 DP shred attached to this whenever you're proccing the marks, which unfortunately are bugged right now. Plus a damage explosion and some other special buffs here. So let's just cover those. It ties into the E buff. So the E buff in this iteration is crazy cool. It gives you 30 AP and 50% crit rate for 30 seconds on use for yourself. But then it gives a buff to all your allies and friends. Special attack damage 5% for 10 seconds. Max HP 2500 for 10 seconds. Ignore all resistance 10% for 10 seconds. And 10% damage reduction rate for 10 seconds. Damage reduction rate is the same thing you get from having DP. You have 30% from having 4 or 1 DP. And this number here, it goes up to then 40%. It's basically just a flat 10% additional damage reduction. It is really strong. And this is a friendly buff as well. So your guild members, your party members, your allies get this buff. Super strong. And this is also all the buffs you have in the new passive. So you have a DP buff, you have an AP buff, you have a DP shred. And then you have these special buffs that are you and friend buffs for 5 seconds. And the way you proc these, the heals and all that, is by proccing the different marks. So the way it's going to work is you go a fire ability, into a wood ability, into water, into a metal, into a earth, into a fire, into a wood. All right, that's the gist of it. And then you're going to proc these along the way. Now you can like skip the line. Maybe you want to prioritize keeping the DR buff up at all times. So maybe you're going to forego one of the other buffs depending on the situation in PvP right now. To make sure that whenever it's about to run out, then you go for a water ability into a metal ability to proc it. And maybe you're going to forego the HP buff or whatever. So there's a lot of like mechanics and levels to this, especially for PvP. In PvE, you are definitely going to be looking to run the rotation because it also procs a huge across the board damage proc on top, right? Quickly again, I guess, on how the mechanics work for this class. You have 2 abilities on each element. And then you have 3 flows where you can just like hold down. But in reality, whenever you want to proc a mark, you have 2 options. Fire are all with RMB. So it's shift RMB into RMB or it's S RMB. The wood are all F abilities, so it's shift F and F. Water are E abilities, so it's shift E, holding E, or down E, SE. Metal are LMB abilities, so that's shift LMB, hold LMB, and then S LMB. And the earth are Q abilities, so that's shift Q and SQ. So this makes it really easy for some people like myself that have a hard time remembering this stuff. It's super straightforward. I really love how they divided them into specific key inputs for the specific elements. Makes it easier to remember, and then the alternatives. So let's say you use a fire ability. Now you can use either Shift F or F depending on the situation, depending on what you need. And then you can use either Shift E or SE depending on the situation, what you need, etc., etc. So you have a sort of rotation you use, but you have 2 options on every single ability, assuming you want to keep doing that damage rotation. And that's not even talking about the other things. So let's go into the abilities and the kit and all of this. First off, you have LMB, which is not going to be really used for anything. And then you also have RMB, which is your 100% ability. And the 100% ability does a big 360 stun multi-CC into a long range KD. So this might actually be really useful. I like it. I can definitely see some uses for this on the 100%. The normal RMB ability with the current stats actually deals really good damage in PvP. It's a stiffness into a bounce, so you can use this for a comboing effect as well, or to maybe add some damage. Once the numbers go to live, might be very different, maybe it's not worth using, etc., etc. But that's your 100%. You have up here your E ability, so I'm going to show all the abilities, the LMB here. Let's show it, LMB. And this is RMB. And you see the tiger proccing, that's like the special attack. Then you have your E ability here, where you can also do LMB as the different moves. It's a iframe super armor jump with some damage, and you can use it here, just E. Small jump, but if you use it for targeting, you can jump quite far. You see cooldowns up here. So you're gonna go E, and you can jump in, so you can use this for movement as well. Then we have spacebar. This here is the one you saw with jumping on people's head, and this one is crazy. So it's a 5-second cooldown, it drains your stamina, it heals you, and it goes iframe into then super armor with jump off. It's also a teleporter. So if I just use it here in the air, like I have to use an ability first, we can just spacebar. I stand here, and I jump down. See the cooldown up here. Now if I jump on a person's head, I stay there longer. And it will also teleport me to the target, so going like this, and then spacebar. I jump up. In this case here, it doesn't hit because it's an NPC. If I go over to a PvP target, it should stay up longer. You can see here, and we're gonna jump. And I can stay there. I can cancel it, by the way. But I can literally stay there for 5 seconds with the iframe to get it, and then obviously stamina will limit it. It's a really cool ability, and it can cancel other stuff. So you can use this to cancel pretty much anything, and I'll show that as well, don't worry. And there's even more use for this ability. It is crazy. So I'm just gonna cover real quick. You got WF, which is the same almost as in pre-awakening, and it switches you from pre-awakening. If you do WF in pre-awakening, it takes you into awakening. So it looks like this, and you can hold down F, so you can jump. I'm gonna hold down F here, it got the second jump. It's a super armor movement ability. It gives you the 20 DP, and the core gives you knockback on both hits. I can see this being a good choice for PvP. Definitely one of my favorite ones so far. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Next up is the dash. This works similar to the warrior dash. Shift in any direction. Gives you a bit of an iframe into super armor short linger. 2 seconds cooldown, however. You can spam it if you want to. It's a PvE spammable iframe that's usable on cooldown and off cooldown. Protection off cooldown. Again, great for PvE. It makes it feel way less clunky. Like some of the new classes having these hard cooldowns, and then you can dash forward like Succession, then you have to dash to the side, etc, etc. Here you can dash in all 4 directions, even when it's on cooldown. Personally, as a warrior enjoyer, I love that. It will also take you from pre-awakening into your awakening. Again, just like Awakening Warrior. Next up is the new power ability in the kit. This one right here is, to say it mildly, crazy. WRMB, and you can use RMB after several abilities, like I think dashing, you can just RMB into it. It's an iframe super armor with a KD at the end. Sorry, at the start. It's KD at the start. So it's an iframe super armor, fully protected, and you can cancel it on a 6-second cooldown, and then it also gives you a 5% special attack damage for 10 seconds. So you can keep that up permanently, and you don't have to hit a target. And it's fully protected. Now, a quick play with this is spacebar. So you can actually do this, and let's say you can spacebar to cancel abilities. So you can now have an iframe KD where the gap is a super armor. Normally these type of abilities is super armor with a tiny unprotected gap. This here is an iframe where the gap is super armor. Completely nutty on a 6-second cooldown. It is crazy, and it flows beautifully from other abilities. This here is the powerhouse ability for PvP in this for this class. Super loaded. But let's move on. You have the new passive here, which unfortunately is a bit bugged. I've already talked about it. So not much more to say about that. And they're gonna proc here. The big thing about, I'll show you all the abilities. Here you have the shift RMB into holding RMB. Global Labs. So you have shift RMB here into holding RMB. S RMB. And this is like PvP CCs as well. SRMB is a forward guard with a KD at the end. It's very, very, very long range. And again, let me show you another crazy thing with the spacebar. So let's say you are landing a long range KD and you want to engage. Well, you just hold down spacebar and you instantly teleport to the target. This kit is fun. So yeah, you can also use spacebar for long range engaging. And again, it's an iframe, so it's pretty safe to do. You can also use your pre-awakened movement, like shift space. So if you are getting yourself into trouble and you mess up, right here. Oh, you mess up? That's okay, I'm just gonna run now, we're good. Yeah. This class is looking really solid. The best comparison I have right now is sort of an awakening wizard with the movement of a LAN. It's super clean. It's super crazy. Right, so that was the fire abilities. Shift RMB with RMB. Again, long range unprotected CCs with a bit lower damage on fire. So basically, fire is long range unprotected CCs. This one here has a forward guard, but it is unprotected at the CC. Then you have the next flow, which is the wood abilities, right? You have Shift F and F. Shift F is super armor and very high damage and low range, and F is forward guard with high damage as well. So wood is protected high damage abilities with low range. So Shift F here. And F looks like this. So those are the wood abilities. Then you have water, which is the E abilities. You have Shift E holding down E. And you can see this is forward guard abilities as well. And this is also a bit more like close range. The protected abilities are more close range damage abilities. And then the CCs are long range. So here, a bit more close range. I'll show you again. Shift E, bit of jump back, hitting them here with the flow, and then SE is one you can also use for protected movement. Yeah, a slight jump back into a forward jump, and you can turn them. So you do like this if you want to for protected movement as well. Then you have the LMB abilities, the metal. Again, these are unprotected, long range, lower damage CCs. So you have the first one here, Shift LMB, and you guys can just pause if you want to read the abilities and tooltips. They are subject to change, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the numbers and everything. Shift LMB into LMB, and again, I just want to show you the range of this stuff here. And the AoEs, right? So I'm going to try here, so Shift LMB into LMB. So really long range, big AoE on Shift LMB. Let me try this one here. So we go long show again here. I'm gonna hold down LMB. A bit on the flow, right? The bonus damage. Yeah, forward guard with a bit of damage on it. Mainly PvE, I would guess. But this one here, super long range. And yes, you can spacebar afterwards. So if you throw in here a big CC, then you can spacebar on top of it if you want to. And you can dash off, like you can cancel the space jump, by the way. You're not stuck there for 5 seconds. Right, and then you have S LMB, which again, here, long range, forward guard with KD at the end. Now, currently this looks to be bugged if you do a dash. So I'm expecting this to change when I hit live, because I can do a dash right now and I actually skip the start of the animation, but then it gets locked in an unprotected animation with a delayed attack. So like I'll show you, I'll do like a dash here, and you see it goes straight into it. I can't move right now. I'm locked. And then the KD comes in. So what I think it's gonna work like is similar to some like the Megu and Wusa abilities, well Wusa specifically. I'm probably gonna be able to dash to skip the front, instantly drop the CC, and then move from here, and then the CC comes down delayed. But right now this looks completely bugged. I don't think that's how it's gonna work, but I think we'll get our way to animation cancel the long wind up on this ability specifically. For a quick long range unprotected KD. And then we have another short range, high damage, protected element, Earth. We got Shift Q and we have SQ. So Shift Q is gonna look like this. And yeah, you can cancel all the stuff you want to, and then SQ with some forward guard. So that is pretty much the kit. For the course, we have stun on bend, which is Shift F. We have forward guard on temper, which was the Shift LMB, long range CC, long range stun. Huge AoE, by the way. You can also get forward guard on Blaze, which is this one up here, shift down and P. Water wave, you can get knockdown on last hit. That is this one up here, shift E. Or you can get float on Till, which is a shift Q, huge AoE. And also you can get knockback on this ability. And as you probably noticed, the class does not have a grab. So let me now showcase some of the movement things. The abilities, the combos, we're gonna work on those. I just wanted to showcase the abilities. There's something that's bugged right now, so it's a bit harder, and you saw with the animation cancel, it doesn't work proper on at least the damage abilities, but everything else looks freaking great. So let me show you some fully 100% protected movement of this class. There is a ton of ways you can play around with this. Some that doesn't cost you stamina, and some that does drain stamina, and you can mix and match and everything. So some of the movement things you can do is this. Right, I'll just show you some stuff. Also, you can use like LMB and all that here, and you can do LMB from the pre-awakened. It's really nice. But completely protected, 0 stamina cost, movement abilities, right? You go like this. Oh yeah, I held down space there. Don't have to, right? But as you can see, like fully protected, flows together, absolutely no problem. Yeah. And then you can mix it up, you can do more things that's a bit faster and everything, right? So you can like dash in there. And now you're throwing down CCs as well for this stuff. And now you're like slowly draining your stamina bar, but now you're like adding CCs into the mix as well, which is nice, right? If you're looking to do some of that. And it's only very slowly draining the stamina bar. Really good, really useful. Now, there's more stuff that this class can do when it comes to movement. And that's climb walls. So there's a couple of cool things you can do here, and there's different interactions to do it. So first off, if you do shift space and I'm standing on the ground, it's a different ability than if I'm jumping. So I'll do shift space here. It's going to be a yellow buff, right? See, yellow protection, like yellow things, yellow movement across the board. You see the cooldown up here. It's shift space from pre-awakening as well. But if I go and I jump and do it, right? So I can just double jump, and now you see it's flamed and I'm jumping in the air more like a LAN. So the same, cooldown's the same, right? The same ability actually has different functions depending on how I use it. So what I can do is I can jump like this, hold down space, and we can jump up. And I can actually jump over here. It's like the angles and everything is a bit wonky. But I can also do this, right? So I can jump over, and then I can do space. And when I jump up in the air, I can shift space from there. So I can start with the iframe into my shift space, and now it's going to be the air LAN style jump. And I can use that to scale buildings and stuff like that. And I can also do the other way around. Let's say I'm jumping into the wall, right? Oh, that's maybe a bad example here. So like we just do like the double jump. Or if I'm standing on a top, I can jump off that as well, and does it. So, oh, that bugged out. I'm not supposed to scale down, right? I can do this. I have done it. I don't know why it does that. Like the other times it normally doesn't do it. God damn it. BDO things. Regardless, you can do it safe, fully protected. Dash, spacebar. And then when I do the jump up here, then we do a shift space in. I can LMB for further jump as well. So there's a lot of these cool things you can do. And also you can jump on people's head with this, like teleport to them, etc, etc. Yeah, and I guess I can show you jumping off cliffs as well, right? So you can do it here. Then stand on a ledge here, and we do like a a space jump off. You see how it's all yellow when I'm standing on something and I do it? Alright, but maybe I do something like, maybe I can do this. Oh, that doesn't work. If that's to the side, it will work. Maybe we just jump like this. Yeah, so you can jump up here if you want to and everything. Kite people out. Again, there's gonna be a lot of cool things you can do for like PvP. Baiting people, right? Oh, you jumped off the cliff. Joke's on you, I didn't. And now the Zerga trying to grab you jumps after you and dies to fall damage. I'm looking at you, Cyril. So a lot of really, really cool. And I've just been on Global Lab for a couple of hours going through this and looking at the abilities. So many super badass cool things that you can do with this class already. And I'm sure we're gonna see a lot more coming out when people get more accustomed to it. And I can tell you this, I know people are wondering about it, it flows insanely well. It's quick. All of this, remember, I'm doing without like buffs on. I don't have my movement speed add-ons. I don't have an alchemy stone added on. I don't have full movement speed. So all of this is faster when you have these things running. And still it feels insanely smooth, very intuitive, and yeah, really well done. I'm super excited about this. I hope you guys are as well. Once it's out, we're gonna be playing it, and I'll probably make a proper guide for comboing, PvE and PvP and all that stuff. But until then, enjoy. I'll see you all in the next one.